The rise and fall of ArcheAge.
We're going to talk about Kakao Games. We're going to talk about ArcheAge and how they have made the difficult decision after careful consideration and evaluation of various factors that they are going to announce the official shutdown of ArcheAge EU NA effective June 27th of this year. Well,
it's been a long ride, honestly.
Nobody's really surprised. I'm not surprised. I think they're down to one server. I think they merged Legacy and Unchained after they said under Gallo Games they would never do that. So,
if ArcheAge's story is one thing, it's just a story of constant, we will never do this, and then they do. It's pretty hilarious, honestly. The controversies of ArcheAge are so wide, it's honestly insane. They could fill the whole damn horizon with their controversies and broken promises.
Right now, we're going to talk about why ArcheAge failed. And if you don't care about ArcheAge, down here on this bar somewhere, there's going to be a talking point about games in general and why they fail. So why did ArcheAge fail? Well, first and foremost, it failed right almost out of the box because of Tryon Worlds. Tryon Worlds under Scott Hartzman had a very aggressive pay-to-win campaign.
Dude, if you don't remember, when ArcheAge was coming out, it was honestly a big deal. A lot of people were very looking forward to this game. People were talking about world firsts. Dude, this is at the time when Kriparian was still actually an active gamer. Okay, this is how old we're talking about. And ArcheAge, right off the bat, offered people 24 hours early access if they paid extra, and a bunch of pay-to-win shit. So, effectively, considering a lot of hype around the game was trying to get world first max level, well, as you can imagine, people were pretty upset with that. And yeah, that is so much pay-to-win controversy surrounding ArcheAge, it's insane. Just from its start, the pay-to-win was through the roof, boys. It was an experience worth talking about. It was great if you were not playing the game.
Very aggressive, and the problem is that I can't blame Tryon Worlds for all of that, because a lot of the problems with ArcheAge is the pay to win. And when we talk about pay to win, we talk about pay to win involves creating the problem to sell the solution. And this is what XL Games had done in the game coding. They created certain problems like regrades, which need regrade charms, so they could sell them. It also had to do with mismanagement. Tryon Worlds was completely inept at, number one, properly managing their servers, getting server queues right all the way back at launch. We have it in place so that we're going to be able to spin up servers as needed. Okay, then why, if you had 4 days of early access, didn't you know how many people were trying to play? Why did you have queues of 13,000 people? You know.
Oh yeah, also the queues. I completely forgot about that. The queues were amazing. Thank God I never played ArcheAge. I thought about playing it and I was like, nah, I'll just do it later maybe. And then the game died in a month.
There's just mismanagement over and over and over again. And then, of course, greed. For those of you that aren't familiar with what was going on with Tryon Worlds at the time, Tryon Worlds had acquired all of Gazillion's assets because, this is their slide, Tryon had this idea that they were going to be the next Steam, but they were going to be Steam but better. So Tryon...
Many have tried, and Steam has never responded. Steam just sits there, does nothing, and waits until its opposition just accidentally offs themselves. Which is, I mean, sounds like a stupid tactic, but in reality it has been proven to be probably the most effective tactic ever. Do nothing, and win. What a world we live in.
Overextended on Gazillion's assets, weren't able to properly execute, weren't able to make money. They needed more money. Rift and ArcheAge were really their only two products. Trovehead and Grow.
I did play Rift though. Man, Rift is still the most fond memories I have from playing an MMO. The tri-class system, beautiful. The raids, shit. The everything else, annoying. But the PvP, Oh, that was good stuff, boys. That was the cream of the crop. Oh man, I loved it so much. It was cool. It was cool. Rift, one of my favorite games.
At the time, so they were looking for money. Then it goes over to Gamigo Games. ArcheAge gets sent to Gamigo to distribute as an acquisition of assets. And unfortunately for Gamigo Games, they hired Krolin, who is the other half of this problem. Gamigo Games had pay to win. They had pay to win issues. They tried to launch ArcheAge Unchained, which wasn't going to have pay to win.
Oh yeah, ArcheAge Unchained. Remember that when happened? You probably don't, because at that point, literally no one was left who actually even cared about ArcheAge. ArcheAge Unchained just was there. I think I watched a video of Lazy Peon playing it or something, and it was kind of lame and boring and dull. Great stuff.
And they said if you buy ArcheAge Unchained, you're never going to have to buy the expansions. You're never going to have to buy the DLC. Lo and behold, 9 months later, they'd broken that agreement. Krolin told us all these things about how Unchained.
The only surprising fact about that was the fact that it took so long for them to do it. My God. When ArcheAge says they're not gonna do something, I expect in the next breath them to say oops, we accidentally did it. It is what it is. Sorry. Oh man, it is hilarious.
Was a new product in partnership with Gamigo Games, with XL Games. That was all false. They didn't understand what the bugs were. They didn't understand things that were missing. Krolin did a live stream just before the launch of Unchained, lied to the consumer base, dismissed consumer concerns, and
hell yeah, now that's a CEO.
And basically he ended up now over at Amazon Game Studios. He's got some fancy job title.
Obviously, duh. If you do that, you go to Amazon because reasons. It all makes perfect sense.
The really big.
By the way, that's not a joke. It does make sense. You milked the game for all it's worth. You blatantly lied to consumers and broke their trust multiple times while telling them it's fine. This is just the first time. This will never happen again. But it has already happened 5 times before. Obviously, he gets to go to work to Amazon because Amazon is a place that, well, let's be real, sees a lot of value in that. Obviously, this is not failing upwards. This is actually doing your job and getting rewarded for it. On your behalf and on your expense.
Problem is I think Throne and Liberty is going to flop. If Krolin's involved in it and Krolin is speaking.
Throne and Liberty currently looks good. I am excited. Shut up. Please do not let it flop.
He's probably lying to you. His track record says that. And then we get Kakao.
I don't know about that, Chief, okay? We have Todd Howard literally lying for 30 years non-stop at this point. We don't even know if that's his real name or he just made it up. And no one cares. The Bethesda fanboys are still gobbling his gook like there's no tomorrow.
Kakao Games, they get the ArcheAge product back, and their greed and lack of foresight has, I don't know what it's done to a couple of things. If you didn't see this video, Kakao Games almost immediately after getting the ArcheAge product back stole the players' credits, forced them to take deals in rebates and equivalent exchanges that weren't equivalent. That video talks about all of it. And now we've got Kakao Games and what is shuttering ArcheAge 1, what is all the things they've done with the ArcheAge 1 players done, and what's its impact on ArcheAge 2. If you weren't aware, ArcheAge 2 has delayed until 2026. Videos up there.
Oh yeah, ArcheAge 2 is supposed to be a thing. Now, obviously, what kind of thing it's gonna be, well, it's gonna be the best thing. That's what it's gonna be.
Not talking about ArcheAge 2 today, but it does make me wonder, does Kakao really believe people are going to trust them now with the shuttering of ArcheAge? Because really, what's it costing you to support?
I mean, there's people who think Fallout 76 is good. There's people who play Starfield and say it's the best game ever, and they're not being ironic. There's people who call the Fallout TV show a 10 out of 10. You know, there's plenty of stupid people in the world, okay? It's not even hard to find them. They're all around you. You just need to sprinkle in the right type of bait.
What, 2 servers? Final Fantasy 11 is 20 some odd years old and they're still supporting a handful of servers. Don't make it about money. With that said, a lot of this comes from the sustainability of live service games. If you haven't seen this slide going around the internet, this is 70% of developers have concerns about the sustainability of current live service business models. And
yeah, we have seen it. It's kind of a little bit boring.
Okay, I don't understand why. Let's do some math. The value of 1 million customers, 1 million box sales customers, or 1 million subscription customers. At $30 a pop, if you have 1 million sales, you'll make $30 million. At $50 a sale, you'll make $50 million. But at a $15 a month monthly sub, right? The first month you've made 15 million, second 30 million, 45, 60, and so on. Now, before anybody jumps in and says, but Jay, populations decline, you're right. You're absolutely right. Populations decline. And let's talk about population decline at a 50% fall off. You have 1 million players the first month. You have 500K the second month, 250K the third month, 125 the fourth month. And at that point, we're going to say the game is a failure. We've dipped down below what a sustainable population is.
I would not call 125k players actually an unsustainable amount. Like, there are games that literally function on 5k people playing, 20k people playing. Lost Ark is a great example. Roughly 20k people play fucking Lost Ark, if I'm not mistaken, at this point in the West. And that game's thriving because people fucking love buying, not even pay to win, they just buy skins. They release a new skin, people playing are excited, they like it, and they just buy it. And there are games that have sustained themselves pretty easily on, like, 5k players, 2k players. Like, how many people even play Elder Scrolls Online, for example? None, I'm pretty sure, at this point. Still, that shit is sustaining. So, 125k is not even close to a failure, boy.
So we've only made 28 million. So when you put this together in front of the wrong people at game companies, what they're going to say is,
well, no. Obviously, this is not true, by the way, because the thing is, he's probably, I'm assuming, gonna add in microtransactions? No? Well, I'm confused. Anyway, if this was true, because this is fundamentally not true, and the way that we know that this is fundamentally not true is because we see that most games are trying to pivot to be free. They don't have a box price even. A lot of games try to be free and whatnot. AAA does this. And then they have, microtransactions. So subscription-caused games still exist, but they're the hardest to actually maintain. Live service game, by the way, doesn't actually mean that it's a subscription-based game. Live service game can easily be something like, whatchamacallit, Suicide Squad. That's a great example. $50 people buy it, and then there's a bunch of microtransactions. So the subscription model is still used. It's just the fact that it's microtransactions being instead of the subscription. And we know this works.
This is the smart solution. Let's not worry about live service support. Let's worry about box price. And then this is going to lead us into, let's worry about cash shops, cosmetics, optional things. But nobody ever wants to talk about the elephant in the room. Why? Why are you losing 50% of your players month after month after month?
Because it makes sense. This happens to good games, this happens to bad games, this happens to all games. Even if you have an amazing game, you're still gonna leak players over time. Now the question is how fast, depending on genre or whatnot, how many updates or things like that. But the reality is you're gonna always lose people. Because even if your game is amazing, you're still playing with the same game. And at some point, everyone's gonna hit that wall where I don't want to play the same game. I want to play something new. And then they're gonna leave the game.
Why are you worried about getting all of your money out of the players on day one in a box price, and then you're not worrying about retention? In fact, if you have a box price with no subscription, they don't want retention because you cost them money connecting to their servers. Is it because companies are just making shit games? Yes,
Also,
company. If you're only going to sell 1 million copies of your game, why are you developing a game with only 1 million sales as a target goal, as for 1 million initial players? New World, I believe.
that's false. I mean, I don't know. Can we even attribute this to AAA developers at this point? I don't know. But, you know, an indie sells 1 million games. They're probably kind of excited about that. That's a huge milestone to celebrate. If, you know, Ubisoft sells 1 million games or Blizzard sells 1 million copies only, that's probably a cause for concern. So, you know, this is kind of different. This is not a broad line thing.
Had 973,000. Ibarra, former president of Blizzard, made a
We
statement.
have seen this. Well, this was pretty interesting. I will agree that devs are definitely out of touch. I don't know if I agree with the math or whatever. It's kind of there, and it can kind of be applied to different things, but I don't know how much I agree with it in general. Anyway, yeah, this was Kuzer Citizen. Thanks for watching. That was PGN Music. He's a music dude, actually. And that was Paradox Gaming Network. No idea why it's there, because... Oh, this is... Wait, what the fuck? Oh, that's the music thing. Ah, well, who cares? Anyway, this was Kuzer Citizen. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.